The single arm hang is a really nice drill for building your grip strength, for improving your shoulder stability, and for building towards more advanced pulling skills down the road. This drill is tougher than you might expect. I usually have my clients start working on this when they're already confident hanging from two hands for at least 30 seconds, 3-4 sets of that. So you have to be really solid with your two-arm hang, and then you can work into the one-arm hang. I'm demoing with my bar here. It's a little bit easier to talk while showing the movement, but also an easier starting point for a lot of people than on the rings. So try the bar if you have it. It's more stable. It'll be easier to start that way. I usually set up in a two-arm hang and then transition into a one-arm hang. So I'm gonna pop up onto my bar here, make sure I am settled, and then just very slowly I start shifting my weight into my supporting hand, and I'm gonna let my other hand go. Now, the passive hang, which is where I am now, might be a little bit easier to start with at first. Ultimately, you want to work towards more of an active hang as well. So passive, using my shoulder blades here, active, and you can train it that way. Again, passive might be easier to start with for many people, but being able to pull actively is really great for building up your shoulders and getting stronger there, and again, working towards those tougher pulling skills later on. I have my door shut simply because it's a windy day here and I wanted to keep everything under control, but ideally you would have a little more space around you when you hang. One note that is important to remember is when you're hanging, you might feel at first that your body starts to twist around, and we want to work to avoid that over time. I'll demo what that could look like and then how to work on that. So again, I'm in my hang here. I'm going to go to my other side to even things out. Once I'm in the hang, it's common people will twist one way or another here. So do your best. You kind of want to figure out where you need to have pressure in the hand, which is going to come from the shoulder here, and try to keep everything squared forward the whole time. Again, bar is going to be easier to start with than the rings for that. I've seen a lot of people jump into this one a bit too early. I haven't seen a ton of injury come from it, but you want to be careful when you're doing that. It is kind of tempting to try it out when you're pretty early on in your training, but just be smart about it. One way you can kind of test it and see if your body's okay with it is, again, start in that two-arm hang here and then start to shift, but keep your other hand assisting. So maybe I have just two fingers helping here, but this actually makes a really big difference when you're learning the movement. You can work to one finger and then kind of test it out over time. See if you can hit a second or two supporting yourself without like twisting around, rotating out, losing control, etc. The other thing you can do, which I can't show here because my bar is too high, but if you're lower to the ground or maybe you have a bench or a box or something that you can put your feet on and be closer to the bar, you can have the feet support you as well. And then you would do the same thing, build into it, but your feet would be supporting. That's a really good way to safely test it out and essentially train the movement with less load. So you can even build up that way and do your sets with the assistance of the feet or the other hand or both, some combo of those, and build towards doing a one-arm hang over time. My favorite part about this drill, again, is that it helps for balancing out asymmetries. You'll probably find when you go to do it that one side is tougher. So working on each side on its own is a great way to balance things out over time, which will help for your regular pull-up, will help for any shoulder issues, and just will generally make you more well-rounded, less prone to injury, all the good stuff. One other note is that if this is fairly new for you, the bar that you're using can make a really big difference. I've had a few clients use like the at-home pull-up bar setups, like in a doorway, like those kind of bars. And so not this one, but the kind that actually like hook in the doorway. Those tend to be a little bit harder to work with. They're less stable. The actual friction, like the material of the bar is harder to hold. So going to a park can be really good, or this type of bar, which is the Rogue bar. So it's actually like meant for harder grip training. So make sure that you keep that in mind. And the other thing is you can use chalk. So this bar works really well with chalk. And then of course you'll have a much more good stable grip that way. When you're first working on this one, I would say to add it into the prep part of your training. So earlier in the session, doesn't need to be a lot, 1, 2, maybe 3 sets of like 5 to 10 seconds. So it really doesn't have to be a lot. Over time, you can build to doing 30 seconds per side. At that point, when you're able to do that fairly consistently, I would put it more towards the end of the session. It works great after like actual pull-ups, rope climbs, front levers, any of that kind of stuff. You can put this at the end as more of supplementary work. And then again, not a lot, a couple of sets of 30 seconds or so, but you want to build towards that. So start assisted, make sure you can hold without assistance. Do it earlier in the session when you're more fresh, and then later on you can put it towards the end as more of an endurance supplementary practice.